Wait.
1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to the Fools on Stools podcast. My name is Kevin Walker, and as always, I'm joined by my co-stars Anthony Council and Cullen Brown. Today is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022. We all hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day. If you have a great time, please do post us, share us, and tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then simply tell no one. Now, boys, there are some people that could be tuning in today that aren't normal foolies, I suppose. If you're just now getting into the flow of the Fools on Stools podcast, first off, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Welcome.
You are now a foolie. So whenever we refer to our followers, our listeners, our watchers, you are a foolie. So thank you for tuning in. We do podcasts every Wednesday, Friday, and
hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah. So, guys, what would y'all say is one thing, now that we're 21 episodes into this, what is one thing that the new foolies should know that stands out about our show?
Obviously, we are a sports show. That has come very apparent if you have listened to any of the previous 20. But we are three. We
21.
are. Yeah, 21.
Yeah, 21. You said 20.
Well, yeah, because this is the 21st. We've done 20 previous.
But what if people are listening like right now?
Which is true. Which is true. 21 including.
Okay.
21 and counting. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
21 is actually my favorite number, by the way.
Oh, really? I'm
It is.
21.
Yeah, you are?
Yeah, I'm turning 22 this year.
God, it's crazy. I've worked with this guy for so long, didn't know his age.
I know, it's crazy.
And you just had to announce that.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, listen, we're obviously, the name speaks for itself. We are fools on some stools here in the podcast. We're always down to talk anything in the world of sports and also a little outside, maybe some food, maybe some pop culture. And we'd love for anybody who's now tuning in to join in on our conversation. We're just some three college kids on campus that we love what we do. We're happy doing this podcast. And for anybody who is a new listener out here, feel free to join in on the conversation. Obviously, thank you, as Kevin mentioned, to joining the Foolies. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy your time here.
I'll say one thing. You joined at the right time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But boys, I think we can all agree on this. If there was a stock to invest into the Fools on Stools podcast, it would be going up as we speak.
Yeah. Buy now.
Yeah. Buy now. We're telling you, buy now. We got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of special guest planning, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, a lot of things that y'all will come to see and hear in the near future. But like I said, for the new ones, thank you for tuning in. We hope y'all love the listen. Keep listening. Share it. Like I said in the intro, share it with all your buddies. We're trying to spread the word. Just like Cullen said, just a bunch of idiots trying to live a dream. So help us live our dream, you know?
Yeah.
But with that being said, boys, let's get back to the normal. Today is National Doctors Day. So just a quick appreciation for all the doctors. And, doesn't hurt to throw out, nurses and everybody who works in that field to do all the hard work that they do. So quick appreciation for them.
Yeah, Doctor Who?
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously, shout out to all the healthcare professionals. Seriously, during this time in the world that we've had in the last couple of years, people in that field are really underappreciated, if anything, for what they do. So shout out to any doctors and all healthcare professionals out there in the world today. But, you brought up Doctor Who. Does Dr. Dre get to celebrate today? We got a lot of doctors that we could be talking about.
Yeah.
Dr. J.
Dr. O'Neill.
There we go. Plenty of doctors.
Yeah.
So,
I have a doctor.
You do have a doctor.
I do. Do you have a doctor?
I do have a doctor.
Do you have a doctor, Kevin?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, shout out to those doctors. Oh, the moms are doctors, too.
You better believe it.
I know some of them may not have, the degree, but
I'm about to say that's not an 8-year program. That is a
lifetime
commitment.
Yes.
So
yes, for real.
But shout out to all the doctors.
Yeah, shout out to all the doctors for everything you do. Now, Cullen wanted me to mention this on the podcast, and I think he wanted to mention it on the podcast because he was trying to point this to a particular somebody, but it's also National I Am in Control Day. Now, I don't know what he was trying to allude to with this, but I guess I'll just throw it out there, and I guess people can just make their guesses from what they want to guess.
Insert cricket noise.
Cricket, 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 cricket.
That's got to be the best on-spot cricket impression I've ever heard.
Listen, I mean,
I don't know who's in control on this podcast.
No,
It goes
I
over
don't
my
know.
head.
well, the world may never know.
Yep. Who's
I
the
mean-
host of the Fools on Stools podcast?
co-host. We're all co-hosts. We're
We're co-stars.
Right.
Co-star.
but
right,
no,
right.
we're all
Co-star.
We're all co.
We're all co?
One of us has a spinny chair. The other one, the
'Cause
rest
I
of
mean-
us
Other two are on
stools.
stools. We're on tape.
Yeah, you literally swivel in your chair.
Look,
Yeah, I know,
Here,
but like,
here.
look, until somebody can get me a spinning bar stool.
This is a stool, right? What do you have?
For those listening out there, Anthony just pulled up his stool.
You know
Just
what?
Put it
You
to
know,
the camera.
You know what? Give me the other stool right now.
So you're switching seats.
Right now. Give
Oh
me the
my
other
goodness.
stool right now.
He's gonna miss that chair so much.
This is what we all sit in.
He's gonna miss that chair so much.
Oh my God.
When
He's
the
gonna
second
switch.
hour comes,
Oh yeah, he's switching.
When the second hour
He doesn't
comes,
know.
his butt is gonna be so numb.
I have to take like a 15-minute stretch. Like the boys can confirm this. Between every hour 1 and hour 2 stretch. The reason that we may take the longest in terms of filming hour 1 and hour 2 is
Because Cullen is an old man.
like my back after sitting in the stool for like
My
an hour
back.
straight. Hey, listen, I need to get my stretch in.
Where's my cane?
I know.
Can
someone
get my
We're gonna get Cullen a cane for his. What is it? Your 43rd birthday?
Close. I'm actually turning
56,
big.
right?
Yep. Oof. I'm knocking on the door of Social Security.
The big,
I'm knocking on the door. All right. Listen.
the big 5-0, right?
I wish. I'm looking at that in the rearview mirror, buddy. Oh yeah. But no, listen. Yeah. No, that's a real thing on here. So glad. Now listen, Fools on Stools with all three of us in stools.
That's amazing. First time.
I do want
for
to
a
get. I
time.
do want to get a bar stool that actually swivels, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes.
You see-
Donate to our Patreon. Soon to be coming out.
Yeah.
You see how he acts? I want a bar stool. I want something that swivels.
We're
Okay, but do y'all see all this stuff I got going on over? I'm gonna fall off this chair.
Well, why do you have your laptop? There's literally space here. You could keep your
yeah, but
laptop.
there's a
Yeah,
bunch
you
of
could-
stuff over here, and it makes it bumpy.
What stuff's right? There's no stuff right.
You know what? You know what this is, Anthony? First world problems.
Yes.
Right here.
Oh.
Yes.
First world problems
world
right here.
problems. Yes. Yes, it is. But there are
look,
other.
look at him sitting in his.
His
the
back.
look he just. I'm sorry for our audio listeners. The look that Kevin just gave me and Anthony, I think sends the message that we need to get this sports topic going.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah, and
Go right ahead.
since I'm in control,
Oh, so he
Oh, he
admits
admits
it.
it.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
admits
he
it.
admits
yeah,
it.
I'll,
There we go.
I'll admit it. It's okay.
He admits it.
Okay, I'm in control.
All right. He is.
I take the fall whenever things don't go good, and I get underappreciated when things go great. So it's all good.
Hey, you get all the credit though when things explode. I mean, listen, we gave you plenty of players for
I just-
the amazing interview that we had on Monday.
That's very true. It was
Very true.
fantastic.
Very
You're
true.
you know what you are? You are a quarterback in the NFL. When things go terribly, you are the one at fault. But when things go right, you get the main praise.
Wait, which
I'm
one?
just waiting for my $1 million deal.
Wait, which one? Joe Montana or Tom Brady?
We got to get in that to another day. Listen,
Yeah,
we
that's,
are
good. That's
driving
for
way
another
too.
discussion. This is way off the tangent.
All right, but let's get into it, guys.
Cullen, without further ado, please do take us into the world of March Madness as we enter April.
Yeah, this is the last March episode of the Fools on Stools podcast, and with it, there can mean only one thing. It's March Madness, baby.
Yes, sir.
Today, we are going to be going over the Elite 8 matchups for the men's and the women's basketball tournament. We're going to start with the men's, though. First matchup, we had the University of Arkansas. Yes, the University of Arkansas Razorbacks lose out to the Duke Blue Devils and Coach K. Coach K's last, obviously, postseason with the Duke Blue Devils, announcing that he is going to be retiring after the season. He lives for another round.
Yes, he does. And I'm very, very happy for my good old Duke Blue Devils. Super, super happy. Kind of to talk about this game a little bit. I'm very happy for Griffin. He's been trying to shoot from the 3 for the past couple of games, and it just has not been working for him. He's I wouldn't call him a streaky shooter, but throughout some of the games that I've watched, he just hasn't been able to make threes consistently. This game against Arkansas, he really hit a lot more from mid-range. He had a turnaround jumper at the charity stripe, which was a great shot. He shot more closer to the rim, which was fantastic. And now, did he shoot from 3? Yeah, he shot from 3 in the corner one time on the other side, which was decent. But I think the mid-range is really his sweet spot. I think that, obviously we'll preview the UNC Duke game for the Final Four. I think if he keeps that up, and I think that the Arkansas and Tech game really proved that okay, mid-range is where I need to be, he can go far.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the mid-range and everything, and I really wanted to point this out because I was looking at the box score post this game. Do you realize that Arkansas took twice as many three-pointers as Duke did?
And look, Arkansas, they I don't remember his name, but one of their players, he can shoot from way out there, man. I mean, he can shoot from deep. I think his name's Gunshire. He shot a three-pointer from way outside. And I mean, they shot more threes than Duke did, which was phenomenal. But at the end of the day, like we said, you can't shoot 30. You can't make 33 points in the first half and expect to make 36 and win a game, especially against Duke.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate, Duke. I mean, this is Duke, with Coach K and Mike Krzyzewski. Whenever you're playing a team with that level, that caliber of athlete, that caliber of basketball player, there's so few room for margin of error that Arkansas unfortunately just came up short.
Yeah.
And, that's the way it happens. Kevin, I know you've been waiting to get in on this. What did you think of the matchup?
I mean, it's just, Arkansas really did some damage this year. I think probably more than people expected them to. As y'all like to say, whoopie suey. When you get up against a team like Duke, you kind of have to outperform them on all the aspects of the game, and you can't just single out on one. Like Anthony said, shooting threes are great, but when you're failing to pick up the slack on other ends of the floor that Duke is dominating you on, then at the end of the day, you're not going to come out on top. But it's something to look forward to in the future for Arkansas.
I think they can definitely build on this. Obviously, now they've had 2 really deep playoff runs in March Madness for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Musselman down there, the head coach for Arkansas, has really got a great program down there. I think he's really got a winning system. And I think, in a SEC conference where we were talking about all year, Auburn, Kentucky, some of these other big-name schools that they were going to have to go up against. Arkansas, as you mentioned, Kevin, was kind of the afterthought. And sure enough, they came in this year as the last SEC team.
I wouldn't say they were an afterthought.
I mean, in terms of
I kind of would. I kind of agree because I had Tennessee getting pretty far.
Yeah, that was another one. We talked about Auburn, and I'm just thinking of the episodes that we talked about. We specifically talked about Auburn and Kentucky more than anything.
We very, very, very rarely talked about Arkansas really doing much.
I mean, I would just say Arkansas has always been a sleeper team in the SEC because they're very hard-nosed, they're very aggressive, they're very, kind of like St. Peter's of, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're going to win this game. I don't care what we have to do. We're going to do it our way or the highway. And that's what Arkansas is about. That's what they proved that last year, and that's what I saw this year in the tournament. So was I shocked that they got this far? Not really, just because of their way of playing, especially the head coach. The way he talks about the team is just it makes sense.
Yeah. But listen, you did mention the final score in that game being 78 Duke, Arkansas 69. You did mention St. Peter's, and we wouldn't be talking about Elite 8 recap than those boys from New Jersey. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, knock off St. Peter's 69-49 in an Elite 8 matchup that sends the other team from Carolina to the Final Four. Peacocks, listen, in terms of America's team, in terms of that Cinderella team, I told you boys when we did this March Madness episode, there is always going to be that one team, that Cinderella team. And this year it was the St. Peter's Peacocks. Anthony does his best peacock impression. They're
flying home.
Listen,
Sorry.
The fact that they were able to get this far, farther than any number 15 seed in the history of college basketball. I wanted to pull this up because, again, we're talking about more of the Final Four stuff on Friday's episode. Make sure y'all tune in. Do you realize in total undergraduate student enrollment for St. Peter's, it's 2,100 students.
Wow.
2,100. Their previous opponent, Purdue, has more than 10,000.
Oh my gosh.
And this team from that part of the country made it all the way to the Elite Eight. Like, it's an incredible job by their head coach, incredible job by the players to reach this far. Shout out St. Peter's, man. I mean, they fought hard. North Carolina, just again with Hubert Davis coaching them. I think they were just on a mission this entire year to prove how good North Carolina really was. And they
And now we get a Duke UNC matchup, the first time in NCAA history.
Yeah.
Or NCAA March Madness history. Correct myself.
So midnight ran out on Cinderella, man.
Which is, I mean, to go back on the Duke UNC thing, it is insane to think that they have never played in March Madness.
It is. It's incredible.
Like, never. And it happens in Coach K's final year.
Kevin's first March Madness where he fully pays attention, too.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, but those two basically are one and the same, right? Like Coach K, Kevin. I mean, they're basically like right up next to each other, right?
Coach Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see what you did there. All right. But yeah.
No, but like in all seriousness, it's gonna be a big deal. And I kind of, like you were saying, Cullen, UNC was a man on the mission to get there, and nobody was gonna stand in their way. And like you said, the clock hit midnight for the Peacocks, but hey, definitely not anything to be upset about. That was a hell of a run.
Yeah, and also, it may be Coach K's last year, but this is Hubert Davis's first year at UNC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as a head coach.
This is big for him.
It's the vet versus the rookie.
I know. We got to save this talk though for Friday because I know we want to get into it, but that's
especially
crazy.
Anthony.
Spoiler alert, that will be the main focus, I think, for our Final Four preview coverage.
Oh yeah, and I mean, for all you Peacock St. Peter's fans, just some breaking news. St. Peter's head coach is leaving to go back to his alma mater at Seton Hall. I think that's big.
I know. You can't blame him for it. It's his alma mater.
Yeah.
Happy for him. Obviously, whenever you coach at a program like St. Peter's, we mentioned, they weren't even expected to even nearly get as far as they did.
No. And
that he was able to deliver one of the more memorable runs in college basketball history. He deserves every bit of success going forward. He seems like a really great guy.
Hope
really,
he brings some of the guys with him.
You think
maybe.
Doug's going?
Maybe.
Is Doug going? You think?
Maybe.
Listen, I mean, Doug.
They got a squad over there.
Listen,
true.
all I'm saying, Doug chased the bag with Barstool. He signed an NIL deal with Barstool. So if he thinks he's got a better opportunity at Seton Hall,
Hey. Yeah,
I wouldn't blame him at all if he took it. So
he's got all the Buffalo Wild Wings he can eat.
And speaking of endorsements, let's get over to women's college basketball.
Oh, we got 2 more matchups we got to do. Come on, man.
Fine.
We got to get the Elite Eight. Come on, brother. Houston gets knocked off by Villanova in a bittersweet win for Villanova. Villanova obviously has now lost 2 of their key contributors. They did win this game 50-44 against the Houston Cougars. Listen, Houston was a really well-coached team from the...
Thank you for beating UAB.
Yeah, appreciate that.
We appreciate you.
From the American Conference. Again, one of those top 5 power schools making it this far in the tournament. It's March Madness, and ultimately, Jay Wright, Villanova prevail. Guys, I feel bad for Villanova. They made it all this way, and now they're a wounded fighter, about to enter the last 2 rounds of the Octagon.
And I mean, I know we're not previewing this game yet, but because it's the next one up. But Kansas is a dog, man.
Yeah.
So
Nobody's really been paying attention to Kansas all year, as far as. I mean, if you don't follow the Big 12, and you only follow, like, really like the blue bloods of March Madness, then you really haven't. I mean, yeah, I get it. Kansas is a blue blood, but of all the blue bloods, they have been falling under the radar. They have been doing nothing but dominate and dominate and dominate game after game.
Yeah, there really hasn't been any, shakeup for Kansas at all. They've really been consistent the whole entire season and even through just the tournament.
Listen, they got hot at the right time. They won the Big 12 tournament.
Yep.
They also, in the final Elite Eight matchup, defeated the University of Miami in Florida, 76-50, to claim that Final Four spot to secure the Blue Blood Final Four. That I'm gonna be honest, unless you're a fan of one of those teams, you probably weren't rooting for. You're probably hoping St. Peter's or maybe one of these other teams kind of sneak in there. But in terms of star power, in terms of legacy, in terms of all this other stuff, this is going to be one heck of a Final Four for Kansas. They dominated in big fashion against Miami.
Look, man, Kansas got some dogs, bro. This dude named Brown, this man can post up, shoot from the three, shoot the mid-range, has post moves like nobody's business. He can run in transition and kick it out to someone or even dish it down. For Kansas, McCormick, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big body in the post. And the thing that I think Kansas has is they got a sixth man who can really be a key contributor for them. His name, I don't know the last name, but his name is Martin, right? His name's Martin.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
That's all I know.
You want me to look that name up
For
for
Kansas?
Yeah,
You're talking
for
about Remy
Kansas.
Martin.
Remy Martin.
There you go.
Remy
Okay.
Martin. Remy Martin, he's a point guard. He's able to shoot from the mid-range and shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
Baller.
If you need him to dish out some buckets to somebody, he's very quick, he's very shifty, and he's one of their best six men that I think that they have. Miami, on the other hand, they had a great first half. Augustus, he was great off the dribble. He's very good off the dribble, but he was basically their only scorer. Miami, they shot 34.5 from field goal range. They had 28 boards, 14 turnovers. While Kansas, they were shooting 50% from field goal range, and they only had 11 turnovers and 41 boards because of the big bodies in the paint.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, listen, it was absolutely a big moment for Kansas. Obviously, they have, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but number 30 for Kansas, Ogabaji. I apologize if I mispronounced it.
I think that's how you say it. Ogabaji.
Agabaji. Listen, stud.
Oh, yeah.
Like absolute
Bucky.
beast.
You can,
Bucky.
if you read this roster and you read the stats, you can see why Kansas has had no trouble winning this year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Completely.
Now listen, Kevin, you alluded to it earlier. I know you're excited to get into it. Let's get into the Women's Elite Eight.
Boys. I know some of the listeners might not know, but those who do know that we were heartbroken when Caitlin Clark and Iowa fell out of the the bracket, but we got Paige Buckets.
Yeah.
When you have Paige Buckets, all things are possible for UConn.
That's very true. Very true.
Am I sad Texas is out? Yes.
Look, Texas played a killer game, though.
Yeah.
Like, they played a
I don't know how many
game.
people really thought Texas had a shot with Stanford, so.
Yeah. No, listen. We'll go through matchup by matchup here. Obviously, you alluded to Paige Buckets. 91-87 over number one seed NC State. Anthony, I know you were looking at the that crazy game that Paige had. You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So the UConn versus NC State, that was an incredible game. But even before we get into Paige, though, let's shout out Ozzy, though.
Mm-hmm.
She was balling. She was shooting from inside, outside. The one thing that UConn is very good at is setting screens for other players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're able to do is they're able to get a big body on another one by setting a screen. They go around the screen, or sometimes they get the defender to go under the screen, which is very helpful to help get either that person or someone in the corner and dish that out in the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other great thing that UConn is able to do is they're able to not only switch on defense when they're playing against opponents, but they're able to space the floor. Edwards was a key contributor of that.
Mm-hmm.
There were times whenever Edwards was somewhat wide open, or the weak side would move over, and Edwards would be wide open. Also, UConn's very good, and they've worked on this in practice time and time again at breaking press breaks. There was at least 27.4 seconds on the clock, and the score was like very evenly matched against NC State and UConn. And UConn was quickly able to break the defense, get it out to the middle to Paige, get it out in the corners to Ozzy, and kick it back into Edwards to get 2 points to knock off NC State. But Ozzy was a killer that game.
She really held it down when Paige was struggling at the beginning.
Yeah, the first 2 quarters before halftime. Well, I would say the whole entire first, second, third, and fourth before overtime happened, it was really just Ozzy and Edwards. They were just dominating. And then obviously in the second overtime, Paige just decided to be like, "Hey, give me the ball.
It's
get
my
out the way."
time.
Yeah. She knocked down a killer 3-pointer. She crossed up someone, made a falling mid-range jump shot, which really, put the clutch mentality inside of her, which we already knew she had.
I mean, she was Paige buckets.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, listen. Shout out to UConn. They're obviously a really well-known, well-coached, championship-bred organization and program. And Gino Auriemma has got those girls ready to compete. Definitely not going to be backing down in this Final Four.
No.
They're obviously going to have a very tough matchup with the Stanford Cardinal, which that's the matchup we are going to get in next. Kevin, I know you briefly mentioned it. Texas Longhorns, they put up a good fight, ultimately falling to Stanford 59-50. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
I mean, I thought, like I said a little bit earlier, I think Texas played great. They had a great run this year. They were consistent all year, and it's tough whenever you have back-to-back Elite Eight appearances and you can't get over that hump. But just we have a really talented squad, and we were very physical against Stanford. And like I said, I don't know how many people really thought Texas was going to be able to do something like that against that talented of a Stanford team. A Stanford team that, when it's all said and done, has the potential to go win it all. So I give my props to Texas. It sucks, but at the end of the day, made it really far. Got to be proud of that, and it was a tough battle.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got to give it to Harmon. She was balling, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. She dropped 14 points and 6 assists and 7 rebounds. She's not even the tallest player on the court for Texas, but she was able to look. She may be
stuffed the stat sheet. Yeah,
she stuffed the stat sheet. She may be one of the smallest players on the court, but man, I'm trying to tell you, her hair was in a ponytail. I was like, bro, yeah, she's a bucket for sure. But you got to give it to Haley Jones, man.
Her and Lexi Hull, man.
She's a dog, man. Especially after winning National Player of the Year. Like, bro.
Yeah.
The way she's able to get past defenders in the ISO game, get in the mid-range, and just drain it, kind of like Paige a little bit, which is going to be a very exciting matchup. Haley Jones is just able to get off defenders very quickly and get the shot off very, very nicely and just drain the bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, the way she's able to get her teammates open, dish it out in the corner, whether it's a pocket pass or a quick, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. I guess just a dish, just like a handoff pass into the paint to, what was her name you said?
In terms of Stanford?
Yeah, Stanford.
Hull?
Yeah, to her.
Lexi Hull.
Yeah, Lexi Hull.
Yep.
Those two are that duo is probably one of the best duos in NCAA women's basketball right now. Yeah. And that's going to be very interesting to watch UConn and Stanford play, because with Paige and Ozzy against those two, it's going to be a very fun matchup, but it's going to be a very challenging matchup knowing that you have a big body, and Edwards is going to have a challenge when she faces her. Yeah. That's going to be a very exciting matchup between those two.
Absolutely. And listen, shout out to Stanford, shout out to UConn for handling their business. I think those are two of the teams that if you pay attention to women's college basketball, two of the more talented teams in the women's college basketball nation. And Kevin, you mentioned this earlier. Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, getting knocked out of the tournament. She was avenged. She was avenged by South Carolina, knocking off Creighton 80-50. South Carolina being the number 1 overall seed in the entire tournament. It's got to feel a little good. Got to feel a little good for the Fools on Stools.
A little bit. It's just, did we really expect Creighton to put up a fight against this South Carolina team?
It'd be tough.
I mean, 80-50, it doesn't surprise me at all.
It'd be tough. Hey, listen, we love Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark would have had her hands full with the squad. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah, but we would want them to get there anyway.
Right. No, exactly. I'm just saying, like South Carolina, they're the number one seed for a reason. They've been a well coached, well versed team. They had 4 women in double figures, led by Aaliyah Boston, one of the best players in women's college basketball with 19 points. Listen, they just from start to finish, it never looked like a game. It never looked like a contest.
Well, Aaliyah Boston actually was the winner of the 2022 Women's College Basketball Player of the Year.
So there you go. I mean, she's got pedigree for it. She obviously showed out when it matters.
As well as the head coach of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Also.
There you go.
Like I told you guys, and I know you guys are all on the Paige Becker's, train, which is great, but Aaliyah Boston is the best player in this tournament.
Okay.
She has been the best player in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Period. She's averaging 16 points a game. 16.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
1-6. That whole South Carolina squad is lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no touching them. I think they're going. I'm not saying they're going to sweep the floor with Louisville. Louisville has a very, very good squad. But I won't say it's going to be such a hard-nosed, heated battle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that South Carolina is going to be able to get to the championship game, and whether it's Stanford or UConn, that's going to be a dogfight.
Listen, I'm all due with giving South Carolina respect, but we are people of fairness on this show, and we got to talk about the other Final Four team, Louisville, the Louisville Cardinal or Lady Cardinal. I apologize if I mispronounced it. They did defeat Tennessee 76-64 to claim that Final Four spot. I don't want to listen. They're a number one seed in their own right, so I don't want to sit here and be like South Carolina's just going to walk over Louisville because I want to give them their respect. But listen, I'm ready for this Final Four. I'm ready for just the whole Final Four, the whole vibes, the whole championship, ready for it. We've been watching basketball since the play-in games, and we're ready for it. Obviously, we will give our previews to all these Final Fours come Friday. Don't miss it for the Fools on Stools podcast, episode 22. This is
the last thing, just to speak on that game. You had Tennessee, Burrow, she dropped 22 points, having 6 rebounds. And for Louisville, they had 2 players with 20 points. 20 points. You had Enschler, I'm probably saying that name, I'm butchering it wrong. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. And Van Luth with 23 points, 6 assists, and 3 boards, 7 for 21 from field goal range. That's going to be a problem for South Carolina. That's going to be probably the biggest thing that South Carolina is going to have to look for is those 2 players. Obviously, one's a forward, one's a guard. That's another dynamic duo. I think this whole entire tournament has been a pair of duos that have been very lethal, and everyone's stepping up. Like I've said from the very beginning of this tournament and even into the playoffs for the NBA, tournament season is a different season. The whole everything you did in the regular season is great, but that is wiped clean, mopped up, and swept up, and in the trash because the postseason is a different season, and everybody's playing their almost perfect basketball.
Absolutely. Listen, Anthony, I know you're a regular, you're a co-star on this show, but if for whatever reason you weren't, you would be 100% our basketball analyst. You did a phenomenal job with your research today. Well put argument. I got to ask you though, because we are switching over to the association. You think you can handle that?
Oh yeah, I got this.
Let's get into it. All right. The Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Golden State Warriors on Monday, 123-95. This was without Steph Curry for the Golden State Warriors and without Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are now 18-2 when Ja Morant does not play. So my question to you boys, to my fellow fools, is Ja still considered an MVP candidate at this point?
Look, when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies from the very start of the season, before the regular season, the end of the playoffs last year for the Memphis Grizzlies, if you look at that part of the season in the playoffs, I would say the play-in tournament, when they lost, and all the way to this season right now, they're some dogs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are ruthless out there.
They really are.
Remember the post that Desmond Bain said about Andre Iguodala about get his out of there?
Right.
Yeah, that was proof last night against the Golden State Warriors. Because when you play the Memphis Grizzlies, you better be ready. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the Phoenix Suns or if you're the Golden State Warriors, the Brooklyn Nets. I don't care. They can win on any night against anybody.
You're going that far with the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies are dogs, man. The
Okay.
fact that they're 18-2. I mean, look at the stats. They're 18-2 without Ja.
Yeah. No, listen, but so the question is, so would you consider Ja an MVP candidate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would still count him as an MVP candidate. And
I don't know, man.
I understand. I understand. I mean,
Listen, I mean, look,
It's a tough call.
it is.
here's the thing. Off the top of my head, and this is not a list, but I'm just, people that I would have ahead of Ja. You got Giannis, you got Joker, you got Embiid, you got Luka, you got Jason Tatum, you got Devin Booker.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people that I would sit there that have not only been playing the games, because it's not the fact that they're 18-2. It's the fact that Ja's missed 20 games. Like Ja missing that amount of time with the Grizzlies still having the success that they had. I understand we want to give Ja his flowers because this is his coming out year. But we kind of have to sit there and maybe slow the brakes down on potential MVP because there are guys like Jason Tatum clawed the Boston Celtics back from oblivion to attempt to get them to where they are now.
It's true.
And look, I understand Ja. I think he'll get first team All NBA in terms of later awards for the regular season, and he deserves all that. But for the MVP of the league, there's so many other guys that I consider ahead of him. I don't know if I consider him an MVP candidate at this point.
I mean, it's like you said, you can name a lot of people, and I mean, let's be honest, the MVP race this year, from where it started with
Right.
Steph Curry leading it,
Right.
to where we are now, there's a lot of guys that could
Absolutely.
really get it when it's all said and done.
Yeah, the fact that we started with a guard and now we're ending with a center.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like we sat there, right? Like we started with a guard. Then it was the battle of the two bigs, right?
Yeah.
The two best centers in the game.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here and we're like, okay, well, Luka
We don't know
deserves some
who.
credit. Yeah, like we got to throw in Book. Like Book's got the Phoenix Suns balling. We've got Jason Tatum, what he's doing. Like there's so many names that we have to give credit to. I just feel like Ja's going to get left off that top 5 in terms of getting on the ballot.
And to talk more on that, does Ja care? He probably does. I mean, when it's all said and done, his Grizzlies are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ja doesn't care
Deep.
about MVP.
I think
He don't care about MVP if he's going to be in the playoffs.
I think you'd be lying if he said he didn't care like 0%. Like I
True.
think he
he
cares a
cares
little
true.
bit.
Yeah, he does
A little
care,
bit.
but
Yeah.
A little bit. But like his main goal, I think you guys are both right. They want the Grizzlies to win, and he wants to deliver a championship to Memphis.
I mean, they
Period.
got a very stacked Memphis Grizzlies team over there. Like that is a very scary team over the next however long they can keep that whole thing together.
Because
yeah.
they're absolutely one of the more deserving top teams in the Western Conference. We're going to be getting more of that in a second. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how they do come postseason time. But I mentioned Jason Tatum, and I mentioned the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams goes down after a meniscus tear. He is out 4 to 6 weeks. He did underwent successful surgery today to repair that his meniscus in his left knee. Like I said, 4 to 6 week recovery. He may, depending on how far Boston gets in, may have a chance to return. He is the defensive anchor for them. Boys, how are we feeling about the Eastern Conference at this moment?
It's
It's interesting.
it's a little shaky.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the Celtics' next couple of games, and I'm just gonna go through the rest of them for the rest of the season.
Mhm.
They play the Pacers at home. They play the Pacers at home. The Wizards at home. They go face the Chicago Bulls on the 6th of April. They go face the Bucks, and then they play the Grizzlies at the end of the season. Which is, I mean, the schedule looks pretty easy. I would say those last 3 games against the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Grizzlies, those are going to be the most tested games. Thankfully, they won't have to play the Grizzlies in the playoffs. They'll probably have to play the Bulls or the Bucks in the playoffs. So that's going to be very. And I don't think they're going to have to play the Bucks in the first round of the playoffs.
Not the first round.
Obviously,
No.
that makes no
Yeah.
sense. But
Right.
but I think those games are going to be very. It's going to test them a lot without Williams.
Yeah.
Yes, Williams is going to be back within the playoffs.
You think so?
I think he should.
Mhm.
He should. Because the way they've played with him is they're very efficient with him. He's their starting center.
Mhm.
You know, and I mean when you don't have him, and I mean I think what is Theis still there?
Yeah, Daniel Theis, yes.
Yeah, Daniel Theis. he's a great backup, and
Yeah.
I think that they can be able to sustain. I mean, right now they're beating the Heat right now, 47-42 in the second quarter. But I mean, the last couple of games, it's been an uphill battle. Thankfully, it's only been a close game against the Celtics when they lost to the Raptors. And look, Siakam was killing the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jason Tatum tried his best, but they were killing the Celtics.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you don't want for the Celtics is to yes, be in those close battle games, but if you know you can beat the team, then go beat them.
Right.
That's the thing. I mean, the Celtics should have won that game against the Raptors, and they should beat the Heat, but I think without Williams, it's going to be...
Now, you said they're playing the Heat right now.
They're playing the Heat right now.
That's a 1 versus 3 match.
That's
right?
I mean,
Cool.
and that's kind of why I said the East is shaky. 1 through 4 can change
like that.
in the next 6 games.
Yeah, I
Right.
just had a fail of a snap moment
Yeah,
out there.
I recovered, dude. You're good.
Thank you, sir. Thank
So
you.
the Heat, obviously, they're leading it all, but the Bucks are in second place, only a half game behind, with the Celtics a whole game behind. The 76ers are only 1.5 games behind, sitting at 4th place.
Yeah.
That can easily go anywhere within the next few days.
Now, I wanted it because I'm glad you brought that up. Because there's a certain team, if you look at that Eastern Conference standings, that's in the 8th spot right now. That is maybe getting a little healthier. Maybe kind of getting some of their part-time players maybe go full-time. Listen, all I'm saying is, and I'm not picking Brooklyn to come out of the East, but if you're sitting there in your Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, I'm telling you, look, and I'm looking at these other teams here in the Eastern Conference that they could potentially play, whether it's Cleveland, Toronto, maybe Charlotte, Chicago, Atlanta, all teams that are in the play-in or playoffs right now. I really don't want to play that team in Brooklyn.
Ooh, no, me neither.
So
That's the thing.
Do you think there might be a little gamesmanship
So-
in terms of like trying to get out of the spot to play the Nets?
So that's the thing that's one of the things about playing these championship level rosters. I don't care what anybody says. The Brooklyn Nets are a championship level roster.
Of course. Yeah, no one doubts that.
Period.
Yeah, with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, absolutely.
8th seed, they could be the 10th seed. That's the thing about players like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and, so on and so forth. LeBron James, and you can name the list. All you have to give them is a slim chance of hope. Give them that play-in seed. Give them that 8th spot. That's all they need.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
will take it, start fresh 0-0, and run with it.
that's true.
They're
You
getting healthy
get-
at the right time.
You get the Brooklyn Nets in the first round against the Heat. I'm not sitting there and I'm not gonna tell you that that's a wash
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, it's gonna be a battle.
because
will be.
Kevin Durant has the full eligibility to take off and go off any game at any time and do things that we don't even we can't even really comprehend. And then Kyrie Irving can back it up now.
Yeah.
And he can play at home games,
Yeah.
which is like
If you
crazy.
Huge.
if by chance they get Ben Simmons throughout this playoff run and they get some defensive help, there's no telling what the Nets could do.
The only reason I would push back on the Ben Simmons thing is you don't have
I
enough
don't know-
time to gel the chemistry.
I don't know if there's been anything come out on the whole Ben Simmons thing.
I would doubt that he would play any games for. I think they're saving him for next year. So I'm ruling out the Ben Simmons thing. Now they still got a talented roster. They do have Seth Curry. I don't know if Joe Harris is going to be coming back for the postseason, but they still have Patty Mills. They still got some other guys that can contribute. Bruce Brown, Nicholas Claxton. They've still got some guys that can sit there and contribute and play their role, so to speak. Steve Nash, one thing I know about him, he's going to play Kevin Durant the entire game if they let him, or if not, give maybe 1, 2, 3 minutes a break. I mean, we saw it last year in the series against Milwaukee. Kevin Durant's in extremely crazy minutes in overtime and everything. We'll see Brooklyn, how they do, because as of right now, they are in the play-in tournament, how they'll look against a team like Cleveland. Hopefully they can get healthy with their issues. But the East, I think, is wide open. If I had to sit there today and you guys were asking me, who do you think's coming out of the Eastern Conference? I got to go with the defending champs. I got to go with Milwaukee. I really do. I think they're the most well-coached team. We really don't talk about them enough as we should be. Their home record is phenomenal at 26-12, one of the best in the entire conference. And I think Giannis on his game is as good as anybody in the league, along with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, the whole crew, Mike Budenholzer's battle tested everybody. And I just, man, listen, if you're gun to my head, I'm picking Milwaukee to come out of the East.
Yeah, I see that. That's a good pick. I mean, I'm just going to kind of go over the game, but with the 76ers they played. I mean, he dropped a double-double, 40 points and 14.
Yeah.
40 and 14.
I think it's easy to say that Giannis has not let up at all.
No, and just people have, like Cullen said, they've just slept on him all
Same thing
year.
last year.
Yeah, and I think that they could be another team. They could be a team that could easily come out of the West.
And not
Easily.
not only that, but after they won it last year, everybody was saying like, "Oh, okay, whoop-de-doo, you won."
I think if
Like
they go
were
back
like
to,
a lot of people were trying to say that it was handed to them on a silver platter.
yeah, yeah,
And I think Milwaukee is quite frankly pissed about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're here to say something about it.
Yeah.
Like I think if they go, and sorry for interrupting, but I think if they go back to back, people are going to start looking at them differently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Listen, so you mentioned that there's a 1-3 matchup going on in the East right now, right?
Yep, right.
We're going to be doing scores at the bottom of the hour, so make sure you tune in for that. But there's also another 1-3 matchup going on. We've got the Phoenix Suns taking on the Golden State Warriors tonight. That's obviously going to be previewing Anthony's score recap if it has started. I'm imagining it's going to be a late start given the fact that both teams are kind of on the West Coast side of the United States.
Yep.
Boys, we talked about the East. Let's give our thoughts on the Western Conference as we are approaching the NBA postseason. Who do you think, if anybody, is beating Phoenix?
Nobody.
Really? Okay.
No one. I
So
mean that
Everything after you said about Ja and the Grizzlies.
you want to talk about battle tested, you talk about the Phoenix Suns.
Right.
they've won 8 straight. They're on an 8-game winning streak.
I don't even know how many winning streaks they've gone on this year. They've
They
gone
really
on
have.
so many winning streaks. It's kind of like Phoenix Suns and winning streaks go hand in hand.
They do.
They're 30-6 when away and 31-8 at home. Like they're 36-9 in conference play, and they're the first team to clinch a playoff spot.
Yep.
Bro.
They've lost 14 times.
Right.
So basically, what Kevin and I are saying is no one's beating Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like, the
come
only
on.
way, and I might have even said this in the past, the only way that Phoenix loses is if they beat themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And I
Chris-
agree.
Especially if
Chris
Paul's
Paul
healthy.
is coming
Knock
back.
on wood. Yep.
This is them playing without Chris Paul. We talked about MVP caliber seasons. D-Book has had one of those MVP caliber seasons, and you're going to add Chris Paul to that chemistry.
Along with DeAndre Ayton, along with
I
Mikal
mean,
Bridges,
Like I
along
said,
with Cam Johnson.
the only way the Suns don't get by is if they beat themselves.
Right. I mean, they do own the current longest win streak in the NBA at 8 straight. They are on pace to win 67 games, which there's only a few teams that have won that
done
many
that.
games.
Yeah.
Listen, Phoenix is going to have a dogfight. And if you're sitting there today, again, don't want to use the gun to the head because it's not like that in the studio. But if you're asking me to pick the Western Conference, I would say Phoenix. However, I want to talk about potentially, because again, things could happen. I'm knocking on wood for them. I don't want them to happen. But who would be out of the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Mavericks? Who are we thinking is that team that could pose the biggest threat to Phoenix?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if. Okay, I have 2 teams. Golden State,
Okay.
if Steph comes back.
He will. He'll be back for postseason.
Yeah, when Steph comes back, that's the one team I see that is very evenly matched. And Steph Curry is Chris Paul's kryptonite. I don't care what
agree.
anybody says.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes he is. 100%.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't agree with your pick for the Warriors.
Well, I have 2 teams. It's either the Warriors.
Anthony's double place, or he's hedging his bets, so to speak.
Yeah, it's I would say
Okay.
the Warriors or the Mavericks. The reason why I say the Mavericks is because, yes, I get it. Luka's gonna probably have to be able to do everything. Yes, but you have Spencer Dinwiddie too to beat Phoenix. I'm just saying. But that's just me.
After everything you said about Memphis
I
to
know.
start this,
I know.
really.
Yes.
So no, you got to pick. I'm calling you Anthony Council. I'm holding your feet to the fire.
Okay.
Warriors or Mavericks. You got to pick one as the number 1 contender. Who are you picking?
The Warriors.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kevin, what are you thinking?
So I don't agree with the Warriors pick. I don't think they're ready. Draymond came back, but he has not been playing to Draymond level. You give them a year, they come back next year. Warriors are more than capable of going back to Warrior shape. This year, I just don't see it panning out for the best.
Okay.
For them. I get it. They're high up there. They're in the run. I get it. But think about it. Next year, Draymond's going to be back fully healthy. Steph Curry's going to be back fully healthy. You'll probably have James Wiseman by then. The Warriors are going to be scary next year. I don't think they're ready yet to conquer a team like Phoenix. There's just been too many obstacles that have hit the Warriors this year.
Okay.
I have a lot of fandom, and I love I love picking my Mavericks, and I love picking my teams to do these great things. Picking the Mavericks to take on a tall task as beating the Phoenix Suns is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I just looked. The Mavericks have lost against the Suns all 3 times that they've played.
Yeah.
Not by large margins, by smaller margins. They do their best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can look, so November, January, and November. So none of those games
Right.
were the Mavericks roster that we have now.
Right.
So
So who are you picking, Kevin? I need to know. You don't like Golden State, and you just said the Mavericks lost 3 in a row. Are you saying those boys from Memphis? That team from Memphis, or you got somebody else?
I love Memphis. I just think that they need this playoff experience first.
So then who are you picking?
I'm going to go with the Mavericks.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you made me pick.
Homer picks his Homer team. All right.
I mean, you made me pick, so.
I did. All right, and I appreciate, you know what? I'm holding you guys' feet to the fire.
Maybe even the Nuggets, depending on how far they can get out.
Ooh, oof.
We'll see.
You're not wrong with that one either.
I don't love them without Jamal Murray, and I don't love them without Michael Porter Jr., but Nikola Jokic is a baller.
And he can handle it on his own.
Listen, if I'm picking a number 1 contender, because I did it to both of y'all.
You're picking Memphis, aren't you?
No.
I'm
going with the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, cool.
If anybody.
Okay.
I think they're battle tested. I think they got championship pedigree. I think they got the experience. I think Golden State will give them the best shot. But we have talked a little NBA. We've talked a little college basketball. Let's take it over to the track. Let's take it over to
the racetrack.
Yeah, I would be a little bit more specific.
The racetrack. You're right. No, that's fair.
I mean, hey, we can talk about track. We can talk about track all day with Anthony Council, but let's go Formula One.
The racetrack, yes. Formula One, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, as it were, Max Verstappen and Red Bull do come out victorious, beating Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. Carlos Sainz rounds out the podium positions at third with Checo Perez.
Checo Perez, man.
God, I was so heartbroken for Checo. His first pole in his entire career, and that safety car let's face it. I mean, he ruined his race, and
it's not the only race it ruined.
Yeah, you know. Let's
poor old Lewis Hamilton.
Listen, we'll get to him in a second, but Verstappen Red Bull, after not finishing due to a fuel pump issue this past weekend, in Bahrain, Verstappen and Red Bull do bounce back. They do look like they have the car that keeps up with the pace with Ferrari, which I don't think anyone doubted after Bahrain. Obviously, the reliability might be a concern.
We all kind of thought that they were going to make their adjustments.
Right. And they did. And they came out and they were victorious. Obviously, Jeddah is a relatively new track to Formula One. They raced it last year, and obviously they had their that epic moment between Lewis and Max. This year, they had another interesting moment on that back straightaway before they got to the pit straight with Charles and Max kind of goading each other to see which one would go first, and Charles ended up pulling out. Listen, this fight's going to last throughout the entire year between Red Bull and Ferrari. Am I wrong?
I mean, no, I completely agree. But I like the chemistry that Max and Charles have. It's just
chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I guess chemistry is just the word I'm sticking with, just because they have a lot of karting experience together. They basically got into the sport together, and they're both on the top now. You know, they're
right.
both fighting for the top now, and racing for probably the top 2 engines and top 2 cars in the in Formula One right now. So, I mean, I like the respect that they have for each other.
Yeah, I do too.
It's good to see and the competitiveness that they have for each other. If Charles Leclerc would have been able to pull off that race, it would have been that move that he did to fake out Max would have been absolutely. I mean, even looking now, it was absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
So, like Max and Charles said, it's a new era of racing, and there's just a lot of different things now. But I'm really excited for this matchup and who can be jumping up there. We saw a lot of we kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of some Alpine success.
Yeah, no, listen, Fernando before, obviously, he had some overheating issues. Him and Esteban Ocon, I mentioned it when Andrew came on, and I mentioned who my top 5 teams I thought were going to be this year, and I had Alpine at number 5. I may have underjudged them. I think
maybe
they've really
been doing good.
Yeah, listen, and it really sucks that because Fernando had a heck of a race racing against Esteban. That battle in the opening sequence, the first 10, 15 laps or so, was definitely the highlight at the beginning of the race for me. Fernando, even at his advanced age, still has it. I think Alpine are going to be a team that's going to be very competitive in the midfield, along with Haas, along with, I can't believe I'm saying this, Mercedes, maybe McLaren, now that McLaren's kind of got back into it. Not Haas. Alpine, they look like they've got a very good car on their shoulders. Obviously, they're the only one running the Renault engine, the Renault power engine. They've rebranded as Alpine. They look competitive, man. They look like they can really go with anybody in the midfield.
Yeah. I didn't think I would ever be saying poor Lewis Hamilton. So before the race even starts, Lewis Hamilton fails to make it out of Q3.
Yeah.
The first time
since Brazil of 2017.
I think they said that Max Verstappen was like 11 years old or something like that.
Well, I don't think he was 11 years old.
Okay, wait, so hold on. Yeah. I just did that math in my head. He was young, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. No, listen, Lewis Hamilton said it himself when quoted after the race. I just want to go home. This race was rough for him. Obviously, you mentioned it, Kevin, not even getting out of Q1 for the first time since the 2017 Brazilian Grand Prix. I think what you were thinking of was the first time in a non-crash that he's not gotten out of Q1. That was back in 2009 with McLaren. So I think that's the stat that you had in your head.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking. I'm still learning on this Formula One stuff. So
listen, always come to your stat guy if you ever have any questions.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
It was just. And really, for Lewis to start. What did he start? P15, right?
So, with the grid penalties and everything, I think he started. I think you're right. I think it was P15.
So he starts P15. He actually starts working himself up the leaderboard, and he kind of starts doing the things that Lewis Hamilton does. And I was like, oh, okay.
He got up to 6th.
Eventually, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton were 5-6.
Right.
And then the penalty car came, and that's where things just started.
All right. Hold on. Penalty car?
Was it the
safety car?
Safety car.
I'm sorry. Listen, I gotta
safety car after.
Come on,
after,
I don't even watch Formula One.
It was the
I know that
yellow flag, right?
Yeah. So it was the yellow flag. It was the virtual safety car because there was multiple cars stopped on track. I believe it was actually when Fernando and Daniel Ricciardo. Really sorry for Daniel fans out there. He unfortunately stopped on track also due to overheating issues. Valtteri Bottas also retired at one point in the race, and so there was all these cars stopped on the track and everything. And it's just the unfortunate timing because Lewis had sat there, obviously, with the first safety car that came out. He's on the hards, right? So he's going as long as he can on this first stint before he has to make his eventual pit stop before the end of the race. And so the fact that he got a second safety car, he has a chance to get some serious points for Mercedes after starting as far back as he did. But when he came around,
I know that racing is a sport of milliseconds and tenths of a second. I kid you not. It could not have even been 5 seconds. He had no time to react.
Yeah. No, listen. Bono, his engineer, came on the thing and he was asking, he was like, hey, can I get in? Can I get in? Because he knows he's got to make this pit stop and this is like the perfect time too. And everyone else that was on the hard compound tire, I want to say it was Magnussen and I want to say it was Stroll, I think, was on the hards also. Maybe there's another driver that I'm forgetting, but Lewis was one of those guys that like needed to pit, and everybody else that was on the hard tires or needed to pit got to pit except him. Had to come in whenever they got the cars out of the way and everything cleared, so he lost a serious amount of time during that. He did somehow, out through everything, managed to secure 10th place, securing 1 point for Mercedes. He asked, I don't know if you saw this.
I did. He said, I didn't even know that. Is there even points for that?
Yeah, is there even points for this place? And, Bono did let him know that it is a point for the team. So, and every point matters for Mercedes, this fight in the midfield. So, good on Lewis for getting that. Obviously, he'll hope to bounce back for the Australian Grand Prix, which we will be previewing not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday afterwards. But listen, we wouldn't be talking Formula One if we didn't talk about Kevin's homing team over here, McLaren.
I'm just glad Lando Norris, and you know what? Daniel Ricciardo, whenever he was racing, they actually raced a decent race this time around. Lando could have secured P6. Esteban Ocon got the best of him in the just before they ended it. So Lando ends P7, 6 points for McLaren.
So he does have 6 points. I think he finished higher because it's 4 points if you finish. So it was 1, 2.
Because I thought
4.
he was P6 and then Esteban Ocon passed him.
So he's P7. Yeah, so that's P7. Or hold on. Yeah, so that's P7 is 6. Yeah, you're right.
6 points. Okay, so 6 points gets McLaren on the leaderboard. I'm happy about it. Daniel Ricciardo, I am hopeful. Because
they showed pace.
Because it's Daniel Ricciardo 1 and 2. That McLaren car has potential to do great things. I just really hope things turn around for Daniel for his home race.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like compared to Bahrain, McLaren was miles ahead of what they were.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we got points.
Yeah, exactly. You're saying we as if you're rocking some orange over there. I love it.
I do want to.
I love it. I love it. But listen, McLaren, shout out to them. Shout out to Lando Norris. I think when Daniel went out, he was literally fighting 4 points at the point that he did go out of the race.
Yeah.
So obviously, listen, Australian, it's homecoming. Daniel, come on, man. This is your time. Please, McLaren, give him a car that, doesn't break down on him, and let's get it going for McLaren.
Yeah. And before we head off of the Formula One,
Anthony, do you have the breaking news, or do you want Kevin?
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I'm just happy and glad that Mick Schumacher was able to walk away from that from that crash during qualifying. It really looked scary.
Good call.
Thankfully, the car was able to sustain all of the damage, and Mick had no injuries. Which is absolutely amazing, and just tells to the technology in Formula One cars and everything that they've been doing. So just wanted to quickly give that shout out, and just
absolutely.
I'm glad he was able to walk away from that and see another day.
Absolutely. Shout out to obviously the marshals who got out there, got Mick to safety, obviously got him to the nearest medical facility, took care of him. He actually was at the race on Sunday, obviously not competing.
Right.
Haas held him out. These cars, the advancements that they make for safety, with the halo, with everything they've done to the car, the way that it's able to brake, the way that it does to keep the drivers safe. It's amazing. Very happy for the sport. But yeah, shout out to Mick and shout out to Haas. Mick's a really great driver. I hope he does get to fight for points now in Australia, because he deserves it, man. He's been through a lot.
Yeah, he was on the potential for really good qualifying.
All right, Anthony, if you want to take it away to end hour one, sir.
Yeah, so we're going to go through the scoring breakdown and the NHL and the NBA, but for right now, we're going to do the NHL. The Jets are tied 2-2 against the Sabres. Milo's Rangers, shout out to you, Milo. His Rangers are down 2-3 against the Red Wings. And in the NBA, we have the Mavericks up 109-95 against the Cavaliers. The Nuggets and Pacers are tied 100-100. The Wizards are up 99-89 against the Magic. The Hornets are up 69-66 against the New York Knicks. The Raptors are at 71-62 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Rockets are up 55-52 against the Sacramento Kings. The Atlanta Hawks are up 76-45 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Memphis Grizzlies are up 31-24. And our last team is the Miami Heat are up 53-52 at halftime. And the reason why I wanted to put the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics as the last game was because we have some breaking news down in Florida. Yes, I know it's Miami and Tampa. They're two completely different things, but they are in Florida, and we know Florida is hot. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and yes, folks, we're transitioning a little bit to football right now, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians is retiring. The 69-year-old is taking on a front office role with the team effective immediately as senior consultant for football. Arians has spent 47 years coaching football and became a head coach for the first time in his career in 2013 when he joined the Arizona Cardinals. Defensive coordinator Todd Bowles will take over the job for
Let's
Arians.
go.
Guys, what do you think of the news?
Well-deserved,
Well
Todd Bowles.
deserved. And might I add, the fourth minority head coach in Buccaneers history, two more than any NFL franchise.
Shout out to that well-run organization. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Todd. I don't think he got the best gig in New York with the Jets and his last head coaching opportunity. I'm hoping he can make the best of now with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this time around.
Yeah, and Tom Brady's coming back?
Yeah,
That's going to be scary.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin, you want to take us out, man?
You know it. Boys, it has been a good one. Be sure to come back for hour 2 of the Fools on Stools podcast. You don't want to miss out on the list from Cullen's Corner. You know it's going to be good. Anthony has been cooking up in the lab to get me and Cullen on to get us arguing on some topics, I'm sure. And it's going to be nice and relaxed and kickback for Kevin's kickback. So, boys, it's been a good hour, but we will see y'all in hour 2. Peace.